And welcome to One Stop Co-op Shop. This is Steve. I'm here with a solo playthrough of a Kickstarter game called Drop Bears. I will be doing a solo playthrough in this video. If you want to check out a cooperative playthrough, we'll be doing that over on the stream channel, so find a link to that video in the description below. Now, this is a Kickstarter preview, so the artwork's subject to change, the rules are subject to change, it's all subject to change here. And in fact, I was missing a couple components in the prototype copy I received, so I had to do some game component substitutions. I'll point those out as we go through. But like I said, we'll be going through the whole playthrough of a solo game of this, so let's jump down the table and learn how to play Drop Bears. So Drop Bears is a cooperative horror survival game. We'll be playing as campers and wandering around the Australian bush and hopefully trying to survive the night. But it's not going to be easy because we are going to be hunted throughout the whole night by drop bears. And drop bears are carnivorous giant koalas who want to eat us. So we need to avoid them at all costs. In the game, the goal is to try to survive through the night. And this is going to be accomplished by making through the entire game. This is the game tracker. It will be moving this marker every turn. It'll be on the bottom is the camper turns, followed by a drop bear turn and alternating. The first half is going to be the early night, and the second half is going to be late night. And if we can make it all the way to this spot, we made it till morning. However, that's not the only thing we need to do. Not only do we need to survive the night, but we also need to capture or gain a number of survival points. That's what this icon means here. In a solo game, one player, we need to have 7 survival points by morning. So survive to morning with 7 points. That's how we win. We lose by a number of different ways. One way how we lose is by this death counter. So every time a camper gets eaten, we need to move this marker up 1 space. If at any point this marker shows a number of pips to the left that equals or exceeds our player count, then we lose the game. So at this point, we do see 2 pips in this condition. So we can't lose 2 campers in solo game. Then we'll lose. So that's one way we can lose. The other way we can lose is by not having our companion survive the night. So in solo play, you'll play with 1 camper, just with a normal rule set. Then we also play with a companion. And this playthrough, I'll be using the child. So at any point the child gets eliminated, we also lose the game. So that's how we lose. And let's take a quick look while we're looking at child, what these characters mean. So if you notice, there are 2 tracks on there, on each character. The one on the left is the health. So if he ever reaches the top of that track, take a number of wounds, that character is eaten or eliminated. On the right side, there's an EKG symbol. And so this is basically their stress or their heart rate. And as that increases, if it hits the red areas up here at number 4, they will start panicking and they can run off into the bush without knowing what they're doing. And then if they get to the top of that, they will become unconscious, which is also bad. So we will need to try to manage those tracks for each character in the game. Now also, each character does have special abilities. Here's the child. So the child has a special ability called hide and seek. So this symbol here means a unique ability. In order to use these abilities, we need to spend survival points. So the same resources we'll be gaining to try to win the game, we'll also be spending some of them to be able to trigger our special abilities at key moments in the game. So hide and seek here, normally this stuff costs 2, but this is actually a special one. The cost does vary here. The cost is X plus 1, where X is the number of location tiles traveled by this camper this turn. So the further she's traveled during a turn, the more expensive this will be. But the nice thing about this one is this camper cannot explore or run after triggering the ability, and the camper cannot be targeted by attacks originating from her tiles. So the really nice thing is she can go hide, be safe, and not be worried about attacking for that 1 turn. Now, companions are special in that they have another side as well. So here's the alternative side. So this one is how we will be programming them. Our camper will be using normally, but the companion will program. So we'll assign these actions. These are all the actions in the game. And then we'll have to walk through those actions during their turn. So I'll go through all the actions a little bit later. The A, B, and C are their special abilities because we talked about the A special ability already, but they also have two additional ones. Scream, which costs 2 survival points, which will cause the camper to move 2 spaces towards this companion to go rescue them as they scream. It also has the Little Helper, which is 1 survival point, that can help the camper to cause them to do a search or endeavor action. So, but we'll be going through this in a little bit more detail later. So that is Companion. Now, the campers are very, very similar. So here's the City Slicker. He's the one we'll be controlling with to start. They also, like I said, have the same tracks of wounds and stress. They also have a special ability. So a City Slicker's special ability is reveal 3 utility cards. Take 2 and discard the other. Utility cards are this deck of cards right here. So these are all geared items we can find in the wilderness that will help us along our survival journeys. So that one does cost 2 survival points to activate, but we also have this bottom one, which we can spend 1 survival point to re-roll a single chosen die. It could be a player die or the enemy die that's affecting this camper. Now, important thing to note is when you do a re-roll, you can only re-roll a given die once. You can re-roll other dice, but just that single die only once. Since we talked about the utility deck, let's go ahead and set that up right now. So when we're playing with one player, we'll draw 4 of these. Now, the child, the companion's special, she does not get any items. In fact, anytime she would gain an item, the camper will gain it instead of her. And so we'll gain 4 utility cards to start the game. That's just based upon the player count. So let's see what we got. We're going to start with Vegemite Toast. So this one, it's got some symbols down here, meaning that this is a food. And to use the ability, we have to discard this card. It says, discard, gain 1 additional action this turn. With a reminder here, it says, this does not allow a camper to repeat any action. So important thing about this game is when you choose your actions, there's a big list that we'll go through, but you cannot choose the same action twice in a given turn. The other thing I'll point out is up here in our top right corner is a number of circles of pips. That is how many of these cards are in the utility deck. So this one is 4 pips. There's 4 copies of this one. This is a fairly common item. So we'll put that with our City Slicker. We're going to draw another card. We have Medicine. So this one is 3 pips, a little less common. Discard. Choose any camper at your location. They heal 1 wound or reduce the heart rate by 1. Also very, very useful to have food and medicine. The next card we get is a Meat Pie. Discard, gain 1 additional action this turn. And then finally we have another Meat Pie. You gain another additional action this turn. So lots of food and a little bit of medicine. Okay, so that's going to be the 4 cards we're going to start with in this playthrough. Now the other thing to talk about is the location tiles themselves. So we're going to be starting kind of on the base camp. So if you look at this tile, there are numbers 1 through 6 going around it. And that is used for a random movement element. This happens when you panic and you start running off in the distance. It's also going to help us with the setup a little bit. But each tile will have a number of icons on the bottom of it that will trigger usually bad effects. There's some good effects as well. So we'll see all of them as through the course of this playthrough. We'll put that in the middle of the table here. And then let's go ahead and place our characters on that tile. So I'll be laying these characters face down so you guys can see them easier. So we'll put them here temporarily with the City Slicker and the child. But to choose their starting location, we have to roll a d6, and then we'll have to choose where adjacent to this they're actually going to start. So let's roll a die. We rolled a 4. So the 4 location is going to be directly south. So our City Slicker is going to start south of this position. Draw a tile, and we draw into a creepy billabong. Okay, so this one has 2 symbols on it. This symbol with the EKG, probably guess, that's going to increase our heart rate. So as soon as we move into that, our heart rate's going to go up a little bit because it's creepy. And this symbol over here is a dangerous location. What that means is normally if you are walking into an area, you can ignore that. But if you're running, you will take an automatic damage. However, during setup, we also take automatic damage just for setup. So we're going to take 1 stress damage and 1 wound just by entering this creepy billabong. So put that south of us. We'll move our City Slicker onto that space. And then on the actual City Slicker card, we will we'll take our tokens and move up one up here on stress and one up on the wounds. Let's see where the child starts. Roll the die, and she's going to start at 6, which is going to be right up here in this area. Draw a tile for her. She's going to draw into a picnic area. Oh, that's a great one. This is a really nice one. So this has a special ability up here. It says campers search for and keep 2 food items from the utility deck. So we get to pick what food we get, which is awesome. And this symbol here means it's an endeavor. Endeavor is a special tile where you can work together to try to complete a task. And the task will always involve rolling a d6 dice to try to get a number of successes. So this one we'll have to roll 4+ twice to be able to complete this. Once we complete it, all campers on this tile will gain the award up here, which is what we just described. And if you notice down here, +1 survival point. So that we can also get survival points from this, which is excellent. That's going to go up here in this location, and we'll move our child onto that spot. Okay, but we aren't just playing by ourselves. Of course, we start with a drop bear right here in the campgrounds. Okay, so he's hunting us. He's already on our trail. In this playthrough, we will be playing with Mongrel. Let's take a quick look at Mongrel's card. So here is a drop bear card. Upper right area here, we have the priority of attack. So as they attack, we'll look at the top box and try to do that. If they can't, they'll move down to the next box, so on and so forth, until they find a target. So once they go for a target, they will try to attack all campers on that location. However, there is an option here. Right here, this spot, this gray area with a minus symbol, this is how we flee. So if we can discard 3 utility cards, we can move before the attack happens. Otherwise, we'll have to roll 4, that's a big red symbol there, 4 attack dice, and we'll have to suffer the effects of that. The effects could be anything from a miss, a wound, 2 wounds, or increase of heart rate. There's also a special ability. This one's in red. It says each initial wound damage will result in additional dice to this attack roll. Now, fortunately, we do ignore that currently. So that's in red, and that is only going to come to play until later in the game. What that means is when we get to the late night, the drop bears are hungrier and they will attack more fiercely. So that special effect will come into play only when we're in that phase of the game. Okay, so he's on the board. We've got our campers on there as well. The last thing we have to do is the Survivor Expert token is right here. This is who's going to be first player marker. And we need to then reveal tiles from this deck until we find an Endeavor tile. I've already done that set aside. And we have this one here. So this is the Park Ranger's Hut. Campers draw 2 cards from the utility deck when completing this one. This one also requires 2 rolls of a 4+. And this gets placed anywhere next to our first player. So we're going to put it right here next to the City Slicker. Okay, the game is set up. Let's go ahead and start playing the game. So the first thing we do is we go up to the round marker and we move this down. Moves down to this spot here. If you notice, it's got a plus fist. So that means every camper is going to, for free, gain a survival point. All right. So starting off strong, right? So we'll give 1 survival point to our child here and 1 to our City Slicker friend. So they both have a survival point. Excellent. And now we can take our turns. And we'll start with the City Slicker. So in this game, like I said, the important thing to keep in mind is you can only do an action 2 actions, and you can't repeat the same action twice. So here's the big list of actions you can do. So on the left side, we'll walk through them. Scout. That is basically walking. You can walk into a spot that doesn't have a hex and reveal it and put one there. Or you can obviously walk into an already revealed hex. Now, the one thing about that is you can never walk into space with a predator. Because you don't want to get attacked, of course. Running is similar to Scout, except you can move 2 spaces instead of just 1. However, the big negative to that is if you run into any dangerous locations, anything with it's got a falling rock symbol, you saw that with a creepy billabong, that is how we take that extra damage. The action below that is rest. Rest will let you drop your heart rate by 1. And then searching is if there's any locations with a magnifying glass, we can then spend an action to draw a card from the utility deck. Endeavor is a big one. We'll be seeing that one really early in the playthrough here, and that is you spend an action, you roll a single d6, And then if you achieve the goal, like in this case, we have 4+, we will be gaining these expiry tokens. And these expiry tokens, we just place them over the tile to keep track of which one we completed. And once the endeavor is full of expiry tokens, all campers on that location will gain the benefits. Pretty straightforward. The last action we could do is heal. Now, heal is the only action that consumes both your actions for that turn. And that lets you, obviously, get rid of one wound. We can also do any number of free actions during our turn. So we can do unique abilities. So you can trigger your ability at any time during your turn by spending 2, or generally 2, survival points. There's also trade. So this will let us give or take cards from another camper in our area. However, in solo play, because the companion can never have a hand of cards, we won't see that in this play. And then here, there's also instructions on panic. We won't get to that, we'll worry about that right now, but that is when your stress level gets too high in the red area, you'll run off into the darkness, and generally very bad things will happen to you. Okay, so we can now choose 2 of these to do with our City Slicker. So let's look at the board and figure out what we want to do. Now, because we're in the first part of the night, the other thing that affects the drop bears is their attack range. So in the early part of the night, drop bears only look at range of 1. Otherwise, in the late part of the night, they have a range of 2. What does that mean? If we're looking at the board, range of 1 is 1 space away from their location. So currently, what they would do now is they would see, is there any campers 1 space away from him? And there are, of course, 2 of them. There's a City Slicker and a Child, and then we'll look at the hunting priority on their AI card, and that's the target they would go towards. So for this first part of the game is I really don't want to be attacked by the drop bear, of course. So I want to try to get further away from it. So if I can get 1 space away, 2 spaces away from him, he won't see any targets and won't attack us, which would be great for both the Child and the City Slicker. So I think the obvious choice for the City Slicker here is I want him to move down here to the Park Ranger's hut. And then let's go ahead and do our second action to do the endeavor of that. So in order to do that, we'll have to roll a die, and I need a 4+ to be successful. So let's see what we get. Rolled a 2, so I missed. Now, what I could do is I do have a survival point. I can spend that to reroll the die and try to get that 4+. But I'm not in a rush to complete it at this point because I kind of want to have the Child down there as well so we can double up on that effect. So I'll just let that be. Okay, that is the end of the City Slicker's turn. It is now the Child's turn. But for the Child, we have to go ahead and do a programming step. So let's look at what she can do. So one thing about this is there will be these programming tokens in the game. My prototype copy did not come with that, so I'm substituting those programming tokens for these tokens. I have a 1 and a 2, so we'll be using these and marking these next to this board to keep track of what we're programming. So for her, if you look at the board, she needs to get away from this guy, for sure. And as much as I would like to do this picnic area, I guess we could do that before we leave. Yeah, maybe we do Endeavor first, then we move here, because that'll be 2 spaces away from the bear. Let's try that. That seems like a good idea. So the first thing we'll do is number 1, we'll try the Endeavor. And number 2, we will be really careful with her. So she'll just walk. I don't want her running or anything. So those will be our 2 programming steps. And let's see what happens. So the first thing we'll do is the Endeavor. So just like before, we roll a die and see what we get. We need a 4+. Roll the 1. Doing awesome on my rolls lately. Do I want to spend? No, I don't think I want to spend anything yet for that. And then let's go ahead and move into this location here. So let's draw one of those tiles and see what we get. We get the bushland, which is an empty tile, so that is awesome. There's nothing we have to worry about there. So she'll move there. Okay, we have taken 2 actions with both our characters. We're not doing any free actions. Oh, it is also a free action to play any of our cards. So I could have played these cards during the City Slicker's turn to gain additional actions and heal, but I don't need to do that right now. I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, now that we're done, let's go ahead and move to the round tracker. We'll move up here to the drop bear turn. So drop bear is up. So let's see what he does. So he is looking for an attack of opportunity. So he wants to go for the camper who has suffered the greatest number of wounds is his first attack. Now, the nice thing about this is because it's early night, they're only looking at range 1. There's no targets, so instead of attacking, they will retreat to the trees. And so the game tells you to put this back onto the profile card, but we've got this really awesome tree right here. I gotta put him into the tree because, he's a drop bear. So he'll go up in the tree and he'll wait until next turn. Well, he'll drop down from the tree and attack one of our victims. I mean, campers. Okay, that is it. His turn to move really fast, as you can see. Let's go into next turn. This is just a normal hero turn, or camper turn. And we do need to pass the first player marker to the child. So now the child is going to go first. So in order to start with that, we need to go ahead and do another programming round with her. And let's see. She's in the bush and she's pretty safe. And looking at targets, the drop bear is going to go after the person who has the most wounds, which is the city slicker. So the nice thing is she's not at risk of being attacked. I might leverage that to have the child go to the picnic area and try that endeavor one more time. Let's try that. So the first thing I'm going to do is do a scout action to move 1 space. And the second action I'm going to do is going to try that endeavor again. Okay, let's try those two and see what happens. So first action, move up here to the picnic area. The second action, try the endeavor. Here we go. Need a 4+. All right, got the 6. So that is one of those marked off. Okay, she is done. Now it's time for the city slicker's turn. Now he's going to be attacked, but I think I can make, I'm okay with that. I can make that work. I want to try for the endeavor here, and I think I want to get close. Ooh. No, actually, I don't be closer to the child because the drop bear would be in this location, and I don't want her to be within range of that drop bear. So I think what I'll do first, I'll try the endeavor again with him for the first action. See what we get. We get a 6. That's awesome. Okay, so it's going to put a marker on there. We need another one to complete it. And my second action, I think I am okay. Well, yeah, I think I'll move here. Let's try to fill this out a little bit more. I'll move to this location and see what we get. So draw a tile, and we get blackberry bushes. So this one does have a dangerous location icon here, which means if I ran into it, I would take a wound. But because I'm just scouting, just walking, nothing happens. So I move to that spot safely, and that is my 2 actions. I could discard food to take another action. It's tempting. I could potentially heal my heart rate a little bit, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. I think we're okay. Okay, that'd be it. Let's go to the next part of the turn. It is a drop bear activation. Okay, here we go. So because there's no drop bear on the board, it's not looking at range, they're going to fall from the tree onto one of our victims. So let's go ahead and look at the priority card and see what happens. So this one, Mongrel, is attacking the camper that has suffered the greatest number of wounds. And since our city's slicker does have 1 wound, it's definitely him. So he's going to drop down onto them. So from the trees, oh no, boom, right here. Okay. Now, what's going to happen is we have attack coming. We can discard 3 utility cards due to this flee effect to go ahead and run away. So we can run to any adjacent location, but we cannot reveal a tile. That's how that works. Or I can take the attack by just rolling 4 dice and seeing what happens. But I think at this point, I have so many cards. I'm hoping to gain more. I think it's a good time to flee right now. So I will discard, let's get rid of all my food here. Discard all 3 of those cards and I can flee to another spot. I will flee here. Yeah. Because this spot will give me more cards, see if I can draw them. Okay. That is it. Let's keep moving along. Moving down to the next spot, we get another survival point each, which is great. So that means we're going to have 2 for the child and 2 for the city slicker. And we move the first player marker over. So it's a City Slicker's turn to start. Okay, so now I've got some choices. This drop bear is going to still hunt us at range 1. So if I remain here, he's going to come after me. This is a pretty nasty spot. I don't like that spot because I don't want to take more stress. It would be awesome if I can have the child meet me down here, and so we can both gain more survival points. But with the drop bear here, I don't think it's worth it. I think we need to make sure we're not near Mongrel, so he'll run away, go back to the trees this turn. The next turn, maybe complete this or meet up someplace. So I think what I'm going to do this turn is I'm just going to run down here. Just explore. And I think I'm also just going to rest a little bit as well to get my heart rate down. So let's do rest first. So it's going to drop my heart rate down to here. So I'm completely calm now. And then let's go do an explore action, our scout down here. Draw a tile and see what we get. We get an abandoned camp. So this one has the search icon. This is how we can draw more cards from the utility deck. And it's abandoned. So I was freaking out a little bit like, there were people here. No one's here. What's going on? So that is going to increase my heart rate back up 1, of course. So easy come, easy go, right? That's how it goes. So it's going to increase the heart rate back up to 1. Okay. That is us on to the abandoned camp. That's our 2 actions. I don't really have anything else I can do with him. It is now going to be the child's turn. So let's go ahead and program the child. And let's see. So she is far away. She could do the picnic area and start moving towards our location. I think that's probably a decent option. It would be nice if we were both there, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. So let's go ahead and, yeah, let's do the endeavor action for number 1. And the second action, let's go ahead and do a scout. Do those again. Okay. So move those away and roll the die, see what we get. A 1. I'm gonna spend 1. I'm gonna spend survival point. Okay. So I really just want to kind of complete that and not worry about. No! That's unfortunate. All right. Well, I have to move away, so I'll move to the base camp because that's a nice safe spot. All right, that is it for our turns. We've taken 2 actions for both the characters. We're ready to move on to the next part, which is going to be a drop bear turn. Okay. So coming back to the board, drop bear is here. He has a range of 1. We're not nearby, so he's going to return back to the trees because he can't find any targets. Next time he activates, he's going to be attacking us. Let's move on to the next phase, which is going to be another camp return, a normal one. So coming back to the board here, we do pass the first player marker to the child here. So the program here, we're going to have another scout with a endeavor action. I really just want to kind of get that one completed. Okay, if we can get that done, that'd be awesome. So scout up here, and endeavor, roll that die. I need a 4+. I do have a reroll potential, which no, I really want to complete that. I think I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna spend that survival point to reroll that die. Come on, you 4+, 4+. Oh no, no. This is bad. This is really bad. Okay, well, she's done. She just can't find food at the picnic area, apparently. Maybe she's too short to climb up onto the table or something. I'm not really sure what's going on. Okay, so we have our City Slicker. He's got to go next. We're in big trouble. We're in big trouble. I am going to have him move to the Ranger Hut. And then let's do the Endeavor action there. So let's roll the dice and see what we get. Need a 4+ to complete it. That is not a 4+. That is not a 4+. I'm going to spend one of my survival points to reroll that one. Oh my gosh, I cannot roll today. I cannot roll. That is horrible. Yeah, that is basically it. We have 1 survival point between the 2 of us. I have medicine. We took our 2 actions. That is basically all we can do. And this is going to turn really bad really fast because let's go on to the next part of the phase. Look at this lovely icon. Oh yes, that is a drop bear icon. Oh yes, might you notice there's a plus B underneath it. And yes, you can guess that means we're going to have a second drop bear join us in this forest or this bush. So move that up there. We'll spawn another one. I will draw one of these randomly, and we'll draw into Blinky. So we'll put Blinky right here. So what's going to happen is Mongrel will activate first, and then Blinky will activate second. And we'll see what mayhem can ensue will happen here. Okay, so Mongrel is going to happen first. Let's look at his card real quick. So he's going to target the camper that has suffered the greatest number of wounds, which is still the City Slicker, because he has 1 wound. So he's coming to attack him, and I have only 1 utility card. I cannot run away from this. This is going to be a straight up attack. Yeah, this is really bad. So jump down from the trees onto the City Slicker. Let's go and roll those dice. So here are the dice for the drop bears. So they are possibilities of blanks. There is a single wound, a double wound, and a EKG symbol, which increases our stress. So we'll be rolling 4 of these because it's attack value of 4 and see what happens. Okay, so I have, and I remember I can spend survival points to reroll these, but this is actually pretty good. I have 1 wound and only 1 stress. That is great. I'll take that. So we get attacked for 1 wound, goes up to 2. Our stress goes up to 2 as well. So 2 wounds and 2 stress. Okay. Now we move on to Blinky. So what's Blinky going to do? So Blinky wants to target the camper with the highest current heart rate, which is our City Slicker. However, the predators can never be in the same spot. And so because our City Slicker is already engaged with Mongrel, we're going to ignore that and move on to the next one. So we're going to march down the priorities until we find a valid target that's not already engaged. And it really doesn't matter because the counterclockwise from the survival expert, so it is going to go for the child regardless because it's the only other target available. And in order to run away from Blinky, we need to discard 2 food items, which we won't be able to do, and then this one is 4 attack dice as well. So unfortunately, Blinky is going for the child, drops down onto her spot, and attacks. Okay, here we go. Come on, child. This is not great. Easy. Okay. Not too bad. Not too bad. We don't have to reroll, so we just have to take it. 2 stress and 1 wound. So coming to her cards, she's going to go up to 2 here, and 1 wound. So she was at full health, so she's doing okay even after that attack. Okay, so that was the drop bear turn. And now we continue moving on to the next part of the phase. Moving down here into the red, which means each camper is going to get 2 survival points, which is excellent, but not so excellent. We're in the red, the late night phase. So now we get the 2. We move this over, so Sisliger takes the next, it'll be the first player. But the special abilities of the drop bears are now active, and they will look at range 2 instead of range 1. Yeah, this is looking really bad. It's looking really bad. And even worse, we cannot do actions on tiles with drop bears other than to run away or move away in some fashion. Yeah, this is horrible. This is absolutely horrible. Okay. I think our best bet is to come together. I say that because we'll get attacked. The drop bears will attack everybody in one location, but that means we'll all be attacked by only 1 drop bear, and the other one will leave and come back and play later. That's what I'm thinking. Not ideal situation, but maybe that's the best bet. So, plus I do have medicine, which I can use to heal the child pretty easily. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and move. So the City Slicker is going to go first. So let's have him move into the middle area and see what we get. So we draw into just the bushland, so nothing here, which is good. We can use the reprieve. So move there. And then my second action is I'm going to rest. Drop his stress down 1. Okay. Now it's the child's turn. So child, we do need to program what she's going to do. And I think the choice is probably just to move and then rest as well. She can actually hide, but we gotta be careful on the survival points. We can't lose too many of them. So let's go ahead and do that. She'll move for her first action, and then the second one, she'll go ahead and rest for the second one. Okay. So move down here, save me, and rest. Drop her stress levels down to 1. So only 1 wound and 1 hit. Okay. That is it. Now we move on to the next part of the activation. So we'll move this up, drop bear's turn, and we'll activate them one at a time. So the first one is going to be Mongrel. So Mongrel, he wants to go to the camper that suffered the greatest number of wounds, which is still the City Slicker. So he's going to go ahead and move to the City Slicker area, right here. Boom, in the middle. And then he's going to attack. And he's going to attack every camper in that spot. So let's go ahead and see what that's going to mean. It's going to be 4 dice. I don't have the cards to discard for it, so we're going to 4 dice, and then each initial hit is going to generate additional attack roll. Okay, here we go with the attack roll. See what happens. We roll. Oh my gosh, that's really lucky. Super lucky. We got all blanks with just 1 stress. If we got a single hit, we'd have to roll another die. But luckily, they're only going to be hit by 1 stress each, which is amazing. I could re-roll that. No, it's not worth re-rolling. We'll definitely take it. So that's going to make our child go up to stress level 2. And our City Slicker is also going to be at stress level 2. Okay. And then, coming back to the board here, we need to activate Blinky. Blinky wants to go for a target. He can't see any valid targets because they don't share spaces. So Blinky's going to go back up into the trees. Okay. We survived that attack. Okay, here we go. Let's move on to the next camper turn. Okay, what do we need to do? We're in a bind here. We have 2 wounds on the City Slicker and 2 stress, and 1 wound on the child and 2 as well. Oh, actually, we do. It's actually the child's turn, by the way. We do have to move the marker, so she's gonna go first. I think we need to leverage this park ranger's hut. So with her, let's go and do a explore action, followed by a rest action. Because we gotta keep our heart rate low. Okay, let's do it. She's gonna move down south here, and then she's gonna go ahead and drop her heart rate. She's kind of panicking a little bit from a 2 back down to a 1. Okay. Now it's gonna be the City Slicker's turn. So we'll have him also move down to the park ranger's hut. And I'm going to spend the medicine card immediately. So discard. Choose any camper at your location. They heal 1 wound. So I'm definitely going to use that for the child. So we got to make sure she survives. So she has 1 wound. I'm going to drop it down to no wounds. So she has no wounds and only 1 stress. That's not bad at all. Okay, so that was a free action. Our last action, let's go ahead and try to complete that park ranger's hut while we can. So let's do the endeavor action. We absolutely really need the 4. We need the 4. Come on, 4 plus. 4 plus, 4 plus. Oh no. Okay. Gotta do it. Survival point. Gotta do it. Come on, 4 plus. Here we go. Boom! Boom, 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 boom. We got it. Okay, okay. So that means we do put another expiry token on it. We do complete it. And just as a reminder to everyone, let me pull this off so we can take a quick look. It says, campers draw 2 cards from the utility deck. And the nice thing is, each camper there does that. So we're going to draw 4 cards. 2 for the child, 2 for the City Slicker. The 2 child cards are going to go to the City Slicker's hand. And plus 1 survival point. So they both gain a survival point, which is excellent. So we absolutely need that. Big time. Okay. So let's go and draw our cards. Get 4 of them. So the first card we draw into is Bandages. Choose any camper at your location. They heal a single wound. Okay. We also have Torch. Discard for the rest of your turn. If you run or scout, each time a new tile is drawn, draw an additional 1. Place 1, discard the others. This lets us do a little bit of mitigation as we're moving through tiles and avoid the bad ones. Or if I have batteries, you can discard the batteries to draw 2 utility cards. And then we have a Flare. Ooh, a rare item. Discard. One tile at a time. Place new tiles until all spaces around your current location are occupied. So we can see everything around us. And then finally, we have more medicine. You heal another wound. Okay. We might have to use a lot of this medicine bandages to heal us. Because we've done the 2 actions. I don't have any other actions we can do. So we're kind of stuck there. The City Slicker does have a number of wounds. The child's healthy. But I could use... Oh wait, we do have to gain the survival points. Let's gain 1 to each of them. So we're at a total of 6. Yeah, the problem is if we split up, the other dropper is going to attack the other target anyway. So I think we want to kind of stick together. So I probably won't flee. I'll probably try to stand my ground. And so based upon that, let's go ahead and use some of the stuff. I'm going to use the medicine. And let's go ahead and use the bandages as well. Let's start using these equipment. So that's going to heal 2 wounds. We'll do those both towards the City Slicker. So City Slicker does have 2 wounds. He's going to drop down to no wounds, which is excellent. Okay. We also have this flare. I think I'm going to use the flare right now. So we'll be able to discard this and then reveal tiles next to us. So let's see what's nearby our location. So we'll draw for this spot here and see what we get. We get a Doomsday Cache. So this is a really good tile. It's got a backpack on there. When we move into it, we immediately get a free utility card. Also, it's got the search icon, so we can spend actions to draw a card from the utility deck. That is an amazing one to get. Love seeing that one. Let's see what we get below us. We have a waterfall. It's also a good one. This has a water ball there, which means when we move into it, we get to drop our heart rate by 1 for free. But it's once per use. So once we use it, we do put an expiry token on it. Similar to the backpack in that sense. Okay, that is it. We've taken our 2 actions. We're in the area. We have a few survival tokens, but bad news bears, right? Here we go. Here goes the bears. Activating them. So first, we have to activate Mongrel. So Mongrel, he's not done with us. He wants to finish the job. Mongrel would normally follow the attack priority, but he does that if he has multiple close targets. But in this case, it doesn't really matter what we do, because we're both the close targets to him, so he's just going to move into our spot and attack us. He's going to attack us with those 4 dice as before. Of course, we don't have the option of doing the flee because I don't have any more cards to discard. I kind of used them all. So we're going to have to take this attack and to attack each of the characters at that spot. Oh boy, this is going to be crazy. We do have the horrible effect as well. If we roll a wound, we have to roll additional dice as well. Okay, let's see if we can survive this. Here we go. Roll the dice. We rolled, oh my goodness, that is the worst roll in history. 6 wounds and an EKG. Actually, maybe the worst one will be another. Actually, that's the worst because 6 wounds will one-shot kill everybody. So yeah, let's let's use those survival points. Let's reroll this one to start. Here we go. All right, reroll that one into a single wound. Okay, can't reroll that one again. Let's go ahead and reroll this one as well. Let's try to drop those wounds down. I blanked. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And then I am going to use my other one to reroll this as well, because I just don't want to do these critical wounds into a stress. Okay. Now, because we do have one of those wounds, we have to roll additional die. So I'm going to roll this one as his 5th die. Oh, blank. Sweet. Okay. Okay. That went from really bad to, okay, we can survive a little bit. So we have 2 stress and 1 wound coming to both our campers. So 2 stress on the City Slicker will put him up to a 4 and 1 wound here. So now he is in panic mode. We'll resolve that in a second, but let's go ahead and finish up with the child first. So the child is going to move up twice and then once on the wound as well. Okay. Now, I was kind of hoping that nothing else would bad happen, but it's not the case. So he's in panic. This is really, really bad. Anytime you're in the red zone, after the action resolves, you then have to resolve panic. And so what's going to happen is I'm going to have to roll a die, and I'm going to be forced to run straight in that direction, whatever direction we move, and we'll have to suffer the effects as we run in that direction. And at the end, we'll have to drop our heart rate back down to 3. Okay, Let's see how bad this turns out. We might lose the City Slicker. He's moving 4. So 4 is going to be south of our position. So if we look at the next spot down, it's going to be the waterfall, which is actually great. So moving there, we have to suffer the effects, which is going to be dropping our heart rate by 1. So boom, down here. Okay. And then we need to move another spot, and this one we have to reveal. So let's see what we get for that tile. We're going to get abandoned camp. So this is going to increase our stress again, and it's something we can search. So let's move right down here, and we move on to that spot. So let's move our stress back up. But the good news is, after we resolve the panic effect, this automatically drops down to 3, as long as we're not in the unconscious state. Okay. So that is him running away because he got scared of that drop bear attack. And I don't blame him. That was a pretty horrible roll. But now, this is the bad news. Notice, he's not with the drop bear anymore. We also have Blinky. So, Blinky is now going to enter the field, and he's looking for a victim. And the only option he has is to come after our City Slicker friend here. Okay. So, Blinky is going to roll 4 dice, and we have to reroll all blank results from the initial attack roll. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Let's see if he survives. And I have 0 survival points. I cannot mitigate these dice results at all. Okay, here we go. This is bad. Oh my goodness! All blanks! That's amazing. But kind of not, because I have to reroll all these dice. Come on, all blanks again. All blanks again. Not that lucky. Not that lucky at all. But that's okay. Let's see. 2, 3, 4. 4 wounds. Let's look at City Slicker's card. He's going to take 4 wounds, and he's going to be at 1, 2, 3, 4. He's at 5 of 6 wounds. He actually survived that attack. I am surprised. I am really, really surprised he survived. Okay. Okay. This is something else, guys, I'll tell you. There we go. Moving on to the next phase, we get 2 survival points each, which is going to help us a ton. See if we can survive. So 2 for the child and 2 for the City Slicker. Okay. We're getting really close to endgame. Really close. We do have 1 more drop bear attack that's coming at us, and we have 1 more camp return. And somehow we need to survive and get 7 points. Now, it's the child by herself has 5. She has 5. If she can somehow get 2 more survival points, we might have a chance of doing it. I say that because I'm not expecting City Slicker to survive after this. He's going to be first player now, actually. So we might have a new character entering the battle. We'll see what happens. So first things first, let's start with the City Slicker's turn and see what we need to do. Oh, you know what? I did forget one thing. So I apologize, guys. Since we did use the waterfall effect, I do have to put expiry token on it, so we can't use it again. Okay, I would love nothing else but to search this, but I can't because the drop bear's there. I have to run away from it, or move away from it at least. So let's go ahead and do our first action. Do I run? Take a chance? I don't know if it's running is worth it. Oh, you know what I could do? I could use the torch. Let's use the torch. Because if I die, I'm going to lose the torch anyway. So for the rest of my turn, if I run or scout, each time I draw a new tile, I can draw an additional one and pick which one I want. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's go ahead and do the first action to scout here. Okay, so let's draw 2 tiles and see what we get. We have a choice of a massacre site, which can increase our stress twice, which is really, really bad. That will cause me to panic, which I don't want to do. Or we have this one, which is the Bugged Bushland, which I will roll a red die and take the effects of that. I think that's better to hopefully get a blank result. Oh, man. This is a tough call. It's a tough call because if I roll a wound, I'm dead. That's it. But if I roll a stress, I panic. You know what? Let's not risk death. Let's not risk death. I think the massacre site, as bad as it is the one to go for. So we'll put that down here. We'll move on to that space. We then have to increase our panic level. So our panic level is going to go up to a 5. And now we'll have to do another panic run. So here we go. Where are we going to run to? We're going to run to 6. 6 is, oh, that's not so bad. 6 is going to be 1, 2 right here. That actually worked out really well in our favor. Okay, so because we moved into that area, it's got the backpack. We do use that right away and gain a free utility card. We're getting Lamingtons. Discard to gain additional action this turn. And then we have a search item there, which is pretty cool. But we do have to take our panic level and drop that down to level 3. Okay, so we did our panic run. Our City Slicker is just not having a good time right now. He's struggling. What I'm hoping to do, I'm hoping there's some way we can get another survival token somehow. We do have this picnic area up here. That's something that the child can probably do, but that's only 1. We need to somehow get a second one, because I don't think the City Slicker is going to survive. That's what it comes down to it. What I think I wind up doing is I'm going to use the Lamingtons to do an action right now. I'm going to have him rest, so drop his heart rate down to 2. And then let's go ahead and do his last action is do a run. So I'm hoping I'm going to run here and here, and what I'm doing is I'm trying to find another Endeavor tile that could probably help with getting the last survival point you want. So let's move here first and see what it is. It is a blackberry bushes, which will take a wound and will die. Or we have a drop bear nest. Oh, gosh. Oh, no. Oh. Well, that's a thing. Let's not do the drop bear nest. Let's run to the bushes and take a wound and unfortunately perish in the runs, because if you notice, he only has 1 wound left. He is now dead. Poor City Slicker. Oh no. We do lose all our survival points. We lose all our cards, which we don't have any cards. And then unfortunately, we do have to come up here and move the death tracker up 1 space. Okay, so we have our first casualty of the game. Now, we do immediately spawn a new actually, let me take his character as well and put him face down so we know he's not in the game anymore. And we'll get a new camper. So let's see what we get. We're going to start the game with a personal trainer. So he'll be entering the game. Full health, full everything. His special ability is personal best. At no additional cost, this camper performs an additional run. This action doesn't increase the camper's heart rate. Oh yeah, I did forget to increase his heart rate on when I did the run for the City Slicker, but honestly, it didn't matter. He was not going to make it. So he's can do a run very easily. So we'll go ahead and put his markers on the board at 0 and 0. And he does need to spawn onto the table. So put a City Personal Trainer there, and he does come with 2 utility cards every time we start with a new character. We're going to get a park map. Discard 1 at a time. Place up to 3 location tiles. Place each in a free spot connecting to your current location. No valid spots available. No more tiles are placed. So it's kind of like the Flare, but it's only up to 3. Then we have Vegemite Toast in additional action. Okay, so when spawning, he will need to spawn at the nearest campfire, or at a campfire. There's only 1 option as the base camp right here. But we have to choose a random location from that, so we roll a die. He's going to start at 4, which is going to be south at the Creepy Billabong. That one does have a wound and a stress, so he's already starting at 1 heart rate up and 1 wound. So that is his current state. Okay. That was his turn. That was his. Now it's up to the child. We need to program the child, figure out what we're going to do with her. The child, I think, we need to get her closer to that picnic area and then try to keep her heart rate down, because she's very close to panicking as well. If she panics and runs into something bad, we're going to lose the game very quickly. So I think the programming step for her is going to be a casual walk followed by a rest to get that heart rate down a little bit. Okay. Oh man, here she goes up here, and then we're going to drop her heart rate from that horrible 3 down to a 2. Okay, and that is it for her. Here's where it gets crazy, guys. Last attack from the drop bears. Here we go. So starting with the first one, which is going to be a mongrel. Mongrel, let's look at what he does. Mongrel is going to attack the nearest one. We're both adjacent to him, so he's going to attack the camp that has suffered the greatest number of wounds, which we are currently tied. So we go to the next one. The camper with the greatest number of food items, which is the personal trainer, because he does have Vegemite toast. So Mongrel is coming after him. So Mongrel is going to move from his spot here to the personal trainer, and then we get to roll those dice. So let's see what we get. Rolling 4 dice, and like I said, if he rolls blanks, or sorry, if he rolls a wound, we have to roll additional 1. There we go. We rolled 3 stress and 1 wound. I have no survival tokens to reroll this, so that's great. So it's going to take the 3 stress right now. 1, 2, 3, and the 1 wound, and then so he is currently at 2 wounds and 4 for his stress. I have to reroll 1 of these dice because I did roll a wound. So this is the 5th die. Another stress, which is great. He's at 5 stress. Which, as you know, he is panicking. I think this might be it, guys. This might be it. Here goes our personal trainer running off. Who knows where? Let's find out where he's going to go. He's going to go 5, which is this direction. So he's going to go into this spot here, the park hut, which is fine, and then to the cache here, which is also fine, actually. So that's actually okay. That is okay. We do then take his panic level and drop it all the way down to 3. So he calms down a little bit after running. Okay. That was the first drop bear. Here's the second one. That's going to be Blinky. Blinky wants to go for the camper with the highest current heart rate. Actually, he's going to go for the closest one, which is going to be also the personal trainer. Yeah, he's going for the personal trainer again. Because they go for the closest and they use the priority for the tiebreakers. 1, 2, he's the only one within range, too. And remember, Blinky's ability. I reroll all blank results from the initial attack roll. 4 dice. Here we go. He's got 2 wounds out of the 6. And he might panic again. So, come on, this might be really bad. But if we survive this, it's going to be close. It's going to be real close. 3 wounds. Look at his card, and that's... Oh, I have to roll the blanks. We roll the blank. Stress. Okay. So look at his card. The stress will put him up to 4. He's in panic mode. And 3 wounds. 1, 2, 3. He's at 5 wounds. He's almost dead. But he's panicking again. Okay, now he's got to run. If he somehow survives this, I'll be impressed. I'll be impressed. Okay, here we go. Roll the dice. See where he's running to. He's running 5. 5 is down here in unexplored territory. Okay, so let's see what the first spot he runs into. It's going to be, oh, nice, bushland, nothing. Oh my gosh, it's nothing. Okay, the second one he runs into is going to be, let's see what we get. Oh, a desolate shack. This is great. Oh no, maybe not so great. It's a hostile location, so we have to roll an attack die to see what like insects or like snakes will do to us. It might increase our heart rate, might deal a wound to us, but it's a endeavor location, which is clutch because if we can't complete this in 1 turn. I don't think we can do it. We'll see what happens. We have to do the hostile action first. So put this down here in this spot, move him into that, and let's see what effect happens. Let's roll his die and see. Nothing. Oh gosh, okay. Lucked out. We lucked out. Okay. So this is going to be down to a 3. He's now no longer panicking again. Oh my gosh, guys. That was stressful. Okay. Now we move down to the final turn. Final turn of the game. And then it's morning. So somehow we need to get 7 points. 7 points. If we come down here to the corner, we currently have 5. 5 of them. It is the child's turn. She's going to start. I think it's an obvious choice what we have to do here with the child. We have to try to get that endeavor. So let's go and set her program up. She's going to do a normal explore, and then the second one is the endeavor. Oh man. Okay, see what happens. So she is going to move up here. And then the endeavor roll, we need to complete this. We have to do it. I need a 4+. 4+. Come on, get lucky. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Oh my gosh, we got it. We got 4. We got 4. We did it. Okay, so we put expiry token on that. The picnic area is completed. It says campers search for and keep 2 food items from the utility deck. So we can find any 2 food we want. Okay, so what we're going to grab here, we'll grab a meat pie. And remember, she cannot gain it. So that's going to go to our personal trainer. And guess what? We'll get a damper. This is another food item. Look at this one. Discard. Gain 2 additional actions this turn. Or each camper at your location gains 1 survival point. 1 survival point. Okay, this is so awesome. Okay. And we get a survival point for completing that. So that's going to bring our total up to 6 here. Okay, that's her turn. Now it's a personal trainer's turn. And look what he's got. He's got the damper. So let's go ahead and discard that right now. And he'll get another survival point. So that's going to bring him up to 1 more. That's the 7 we need. That's the 7 we need. So now we have to take our 2 actions and not die. He's got 1 hit left. I have to be very careful what I do with him. But I think the option is to just play it safe. And let's have him move 1 space to the bushland. And then rest. Yes, rest. That'll drop his heart rate down to a 3. We did the 2 actions. And then we come back up here to the final step. We move this up to the morning step. And we survived. We somehow survived. Come down to our area here. We've got 6 plus 1, 7. Woo! My goodness. 7. With 1 hit left on our personal trainer. Our child, she could easily panic, run away. That was a tight game. That's going to end the solo playthrough of Drop Bears. I hope you enjoyed watching that. And hope if you have any questions, jump on our Discord, and I'll do my best to answer that. You can always drop comments on YouTube here, and I'll do my best to answer questions there as well. But like I said, if you want to see how this works in cooperative play, we'll have a playthrough of that one up on the channel as well. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you at the next stop. Bye-bye.